Good morning. Good morning. I am Serafina Monique, and I pray that all is well with you guys. I hope you guys are having a blessed, beautiful, and productive day on today. So, we are continuing our self love journey. We are on day 9, you guys. We're on day 9. So, this week we've been talking about boundaries, okay? So, today continues we're going to continue our boundaries segment, and we're going to talk about choosing yourself, okay, and learning to say no. Okay, so learn to say no. Learn to say no, because sometimes we take on more than we can handle because we don't want to tell people no. Okay, but we have to learn, to say no and not feel bad about it. Okay, so no is a complete sentence, you guys. No is a complete sentence. So if somebody asks you, can you do something, or will you do something, or whatever it is, if you don't want to do it, no, just say no. No is a complete sentence. Okay, a lot of times we wreck our brains trying to find an excuse to why we're saying no. Okay, and sometimes there is no excuse. Sometimes it's just you don't feel like it. Okay, sometimes you just don't feel like doing things. Okay, so we just have to learn to say no without feeling like we need to give an explanation. Okay, and we just hope people will understand, like, when you say no, we just pray that people will understand that, I don't have to give an explanation. And sometimes I don't know, because we've been so that's what we've been doing, you guys. A lot of times we say no because, and then feel like we have to give out this long drawn out explanation. So when you start just saying no and leaving it at that, you guys, people aren't going to be used to it because they're so used to you giving the whys. Okay, so if I don't know if anybody feels any type of way about you just saying no and leaving it there, then I don't know, maybe they don't respect your boundaries. Okay, maybe they don't value your boundaries. Okay, so we just have to learn to say no. We just have to learn to say no and to just leave it at that. Okay, so again, if somebody gets mad because you just give them a no, then that's where you should have left it anyway, because the majority of the time, if they get mad at a no, then the reason for it isn't even going to matter to them, because all they're going to hear is they're not getting what they want. Okay, so sometimes the reason don't even matter to them. Okay, and then sometimes, you guys, what we do is we try, and if we don't have a reason, we try and think of a reason, and sometimes we get caught up. Okay, we get caught up, and it's just easier to say no, or I'm sorry, I can't do that, or I'm sorry, I don't have it, and just leave it at that. Okay, so let's see, I was reading something, and it said we you may have a problem setting boundaries if you do, like, if this stuff is going on in your life. Okay, so if your relationships tend to be difficult or dramatic, you may have a problem setting boundaries in that relationship. Okay, if decision making is a challenge for you. Okay, because sometimes we get so caught up in trying to please everybody else and do what we think makes them happy, that we lose ourselves. Okay, we lose a sense of ourselves because we've been doing what we think others want us to do. So we've lost ourselves. So we have a hard time making decisions. Okay, if you really hate to let people down, okay, if you really hate to let people down, if you're a people pleaser, you may have problems with setting healthy boundaries. Okay, you have problems setting healthy boundaries. If you have guilt and anxiety, or you feel guilty for small things, okay, if your radar is off when it comes to sharing. So if you like overshare information, or overshare details of your private life with people you just met, you may have a problem setting boundaries, okay? And then that just opens you up to the oversharing just opens you up to hurt or manipulation, okay? So you're displaying your weakness. You're displaying your weakness, and so that gives the other person to play on your weakness, okay? It gives the other person the opportunity to play on your weakness and manipulate you, okay? So you have to know your boundaries when you're meeting people. Know your boundaries, okay? So if you are constantly the victim of situations, okay? So when you don't have boundaries, you guys, people are just going to give you whatever they want to give you, okay? They're going to give you whatever they want to give you, and a lot of times you're going to feel like maybe you've been taken for granted or you've been taken advantage of, okay? So if you're constantly the victim, it may be time for you to set some healthy boundaries, okay? Again, boundaries are there for your protection, okay? So if you secretly feel that others don't show you respect, okay? So if you feel that others don't show you respect, then that shows that you lack boundaries, because lack healthy boundaries. Because if you had healthy boundaries in place, then if someone isn't showing you respect, then you'll know where the cutoff point is, okay? So you may disrespect me once or twice, but once it's on you. The second time is because I gave you another chance, okay? But after that, that's where the cutoff is, okay? That's where the cutoff is. So if you feel that others don't show you respect, it's probably because you don't have any healthy boundaries set in place, okay? So you really fear being rejected or abandoned. So when you fear being rejected or abandoned, you're going to people please. You're going to do whatever you can do to keep people in your life so that they don't abandon you, or so that they don't reject you. And they could be treating you bad, they could be giving you less than what you deserve, but because you lack boundaries and because you don't want to be rejected or abandoned, you do whatever you can do to keep them in your lives, okay? So and then it said lacking healthy boundaries goes back to childhood, okay? So you guys, it's a lot of stuff that stems from your childhood, okay? A lot of things that we are faced with today, it can be traced back to our childhood, okay? So it says, and it's not always stemmed back to your childhood, but it's saying it can trace back to your childhood. So then it said you may not have had a caregiver who provided unconditional love and acceptance, and you had to do what others wanted to do to avoid being rejected or abandoned, because that is what you feared the most. So if you felt like you were going to be rejected or abandoned, then you went into your people pleasing mode, okay? And then it also said childhood traumas, things like sexual abuse give a child the message that they don't matter, or they don't get to set boundaries, okay? So a lot of this stuff, you guys, it stems back to traumas, okay? So it stems back to traumas, and that can be current traumas or traumas in your childhood, but a lot of things trace back to childhood traumas, okay? So again, no is a complete sentence, sweetheart. No is a complete sentence. So when somebody asks you if you ask you something, if you don't want to do it, just say no. We don't have to make out this long drawn out excuse. Just say no. That's a complete sentence. Okay, so saying yes to something means saying no to yourself. Okay. So whenever you commit to something, that means you've said no to yourself on something. So whether that is you said no to yourself on something, whether that's something that you have to maybe rearrange your schedule for, or whatever it is, or if it was just your relaxation time, honey, you said no to yourself on that. Okay. So if you say yes to something and you immediately regret saying yes, then that probably should have been a no. Okay. So if somebody asks you something and you agree to it, can you do something and you agree to it, but you immediately regret saying yes, then that probably should have been, you probably should have just said no, honey. You probably should have just said no. You guys, I know sometimes we feel like when people ask us some things, we have to give a response right away. We have to give an answer right away. But you don't have to respond right away. You don't have to respond right away, okay? So sometimes you have to pray on things, honey. Tell them, they ask you something, pray on it. Tell them, give me a couple of days, let me pray on it, and if it requires an immediate response, okay. If you don't know, don't commit to anything if you don't know you're going to be able to carry it out or follow through with it, or you're going to even want to do it. Okay. So don't commit to, I just rather, if I got to make a decision right then, I just rather say, no. Okay. So just let me know, if I don't know, use me as a second resort, use me as the second resort. Don't use me as the main thing. But, if you can't find anybody, then come back and I'll see what I can do. Okay. But don't commit to anything without thinking about it, without praying on it. Okay. And so many times, you guys, we just we say yes to things. We say yes to things. We say yes to people, and it's to the point to where we become overwhelmed with stuff. Okay. Because you guys, I know a lot of us, we have kids, we have jobs, we have extra stuff that we are doing. Okay, we have extra stuff that we're doing, and your plate is already full. Okay, your plate is already full. So whenever somebody comes and tries to put something else on your plate, you just have to decide whether or not it's worth doing, or whether or not you're able to do it. Okay. So instead of saying yes and regretting doing it, and then it's like when you say yes to something and you regret it, you really don't want to do it. When it's time to do it, you're not going to put your all into it. You're not going to put your best into it. You're going to be mad at yourself for saying yes. And then you're going to be mad at them for asking. And it's like, you have that option to say yes. You have the option to say no. You don't have to say yes to everything. Okay. And if somebody gets mad at you for saying no, honey, then you know where you stand with them. Okay. You know that maybe they didn't respect your boundaries. Okay. So and then a lot of times, you guys, we say yes, 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 but sometimes we are putting our all into the stuff that we already have to do. So when we add something else, we really don't have it to give. Okay. So a lot of us are pouring from an empty cup. Okay. We're giving and giving and giving, and we're pouring and pouring and pouring. We're pouring and pouring and pouring, and we are just giving out our yeses. And we're pouring from an empty cup, and then we're wondering why we're exhausted. Okay. And we're wondering why we're not at the right mental state. Okay. Because you don't rest. You have to take a mental break sometimes, honey. You have to take a mental break. Okay. Let's see. Okay, I don't feel like it is a valid excuse. So sometimes we feel guilty because you know, we say no, and then it's like, there's no reason, I just don't feel like it. So I don't feel like it is a valid excuse. And so I don't know, sometimes with me, it's like sometimes I feel guilty for saying no, and then the reason being I don't feel like it. And it's like, you know, sometimes you're not going to feel like doing a lot of things, but you have to do it. But I'm just saying, this, I don't feel like it. I'm getting to the point to where it's like it's a valid excuse for me. I have to tell myself that that's a valid excuse, because it may not be I don't physically feel like it. It could be I'm not in a mental space to take that on. Okay. I'm not in a mental space to take that on, because some things you have to mentally prepare yourself for. Okay. So I'm not in a mental state to take that on. Okay. And you guys, you have to set your boundaries, and you have to stand on your boundaries, because again, your boundaries are for your protection. Boundaries are for your protection. So protect yourself, protect your mental state of mind, because nobody else is going to protect it. Okay. So you have to love yourself enough to set boundaries, and to say no, and to put yourself first. Okay. Because everybody else is going to put themselves first. Okay, so while you're out here putting everybody else's needs before your needs, and putting everybody else first, who's going to put you first? Okay, while everybody else is showing up for themselves, and you know, who's going to show up for you? Okay, so you just have to put yourself first. Sometimes you just have to be selfish, especially when it comes to protecting your mental state of mind and protecting your peace. You have to be selfish, honey, and don't apologize for it. Okay? Don't apologize for it. Now, don't just be sorry and lazy, but sometimes you have to be selfish. Okay? You have to be selfish, especially when it comes to protecting your mental state and protecting your peace, because again, you guys, you have your own responsibilities to deal with. So if I'm not right mentally, then how effective can I be when I'm trying to take care of my son? Okay. So if I'm not there mentally, then how effective can I be when it comes to me doing my job? Okay. Or how can I be expected? How effective can I be when it comes to me doing the extra stuff that I like doing? How effective can I be? Okay. So we just have to protect your mental state of mind, honey. Set boundaries. Set boundaries. Okay. And some people don't care how you feel, as long as they get what they want. People don't care how you feel, as long as they get what they want. Like, people, they can clearly see you have a lot going on. They can clearly see you have a lot on your plate. They can clearly see that you are frustrated, and then they'll still come and ask you to do something. Okay. And it's like, you see, they're not going to protect your peace. They're not going to protect you. They're going to expect you to run around like a chicken with your head cut off. So you have to step in. That's a boundary that you have to set for yourself. That's a boundary that you have to set. Okay. So I don't know, you guys, just get like that meme, honey. Somebody asks you to do something, tell her, get somebody else to do it. Get somebody else to do it. Okay. So if you don't want to do something, don't do it. Don't do it. Okay. Don't do it. Especially if it's going to, if you're going to be mad at yourself for saying yes. If you're going to be mad at yourself for saying yes, you should have went ahead and said no. So if you're not going to be able to do your best at something because you're mad you got to do it, say no. Okay. Do yourself a favor and say no. Okay. So and again, what we have to do, you guys, what we need to do. If you don't have a me day, you need to get you a me day, honey. A day to where it's just you. It's just you and your peace. Okay. A day to where you don't take on any extra responsibilities. Okay. A day to where it's like Don't call because I'm going to be unavailable, okay? Unless it's an emergency, okay? So don't call unless it's an emergency, because I'm going to be unavailable. I'm going to be taking care of myself. I'm going to be spending time with my child, okay? I'm going to be unwinding. So get you a day to where you can just relax, honey, and rejuvenate, okay? Relax and rejuvenate. And I just encourage you, maybe early in the morning or at night before bed, get you some alone time. No distractions, no phone, no TV, no laptop, no tablet, and whatever other devices there are. Just put them down, honey. Unplug from everything, okay? Unplug from your kids. Throw them in the bed and unplug from them, okay? Because you need that time to wind down. And we have to get some type of structure, honey, because I tell Braylon, you need to be in the bed at this time. And I don't know what it is, but at that time, my brain just starts shutting down, okay? Because I guess it knows that, okay, after this time, he's going to be in the bed, so I don't have to be on it. I don't have to be on it, so I can just kind of relax a little, okay? So after that, after his bedtime, my brain starts shutting down, and if we go over, honey, I'm really not any use, okay? I'm just I'm not as effective as I need to be, okay, as I want to be. It's kind of something I'm just dragging myself through, but you go to bed on time, let mommy get her little, get my little time to unwind and get some stuff off my mind and everything. And then, in the morning we'll be fine, okay? So, I just encourage you guys, what I want you to do today is I want you to make a list of everything that you do on a daily basis. Make a list of everything that you do. And if you can get rid of something, honey, I encourage you to get rid of it. Okay, so a lot of stuff, a lot of things that we do, we have to do. Okay, but some things we have on our plate that is we don't have to do. Okay, so if that's something that you don't have to do, and and you can cross it off your list, okay? Cross it off your list, okay? So another thing, get a planner, a calendar, and write down what you have going on that calendar, okay? So if somebody asks you, can you do this on this day? You don't have to answer right away, honey. Let me pray about it. Let me check my calendar and I'll get back with you, okay? So, and that will kind of keep you structured so that you don't overbook, so that you don't put more on your plate, or so that stuff don't overlap and it becomes overwhelming to you, okay? So get you a planner, write down everything you have going on for that week or that month, okay? And before you commit to anything, check your calendar, check in with yourself, honey, and check in with God before you commit to anything, okay? So and then get a me day, honey. Get a me day. Don't commit to anything on this day. I just want to commit to myself and my rest, getting my rest and rejuvenating, okay? That's all. That's all I want to commit to, okay? So if you're not able to put a full day aside, find a couple of hours or something just for yourself. Take care of yourself, okay? Because your self care should be at the top of your list, okay? Your self-care, put that at the top of your list, honey, okay? And set boundaries, okay? Set boundaries. So whenever you begin setting these boundaries, be prepared to get some pushback, honey. Because people aren't going to be used to the version of you that sets boundaries. Okay, so I when I begin setting boundaries, when I begin changing, if someone was close to me, I told them, I'm changing, honey. I'm changing. Like, you're gonna have to get to know me all over. You're gonna have to get to know me all over because I'm not that same person. Okay, so while setting boundaries, be prepared for a little pushback. And okay, if it's somebody that really values you, and you know that, you can just explain to them, I'm changing, I'm setting boundaries. Okay, so this is where I stand now, and stand firm on your boundaries. Okay, and if people value you, they will respect your boundaries. Okay, again, setting boundaries is a form of self-care. Okay, so put yourself at the top and take care of yourself. Okay, and don't say yes to the point of mental exhaustion. Okay, don't say yes to the point to where you can't even, you're running around doing things, and you're just going through the motion, and you're really not there mentally. Okay, so that is all for today, you guys. That is all for today. So tomorrow we will continue the boundaries segment. So I am looking forward to seeing you then. So you guys enjoy the rest of this day. I am Serafina Monique. Be blessed and be a blessing.